Thank you. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the St. Lawrence County Industrial Development Agency. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blevins,
Here.
Mr. Hall,
Here.
Mr. LaBath,
Here.
Mr. McMahon,
Here.
Mr. Morrill,
Here.
Mr. Reagan,
Here.
Mr. Staples.
We have a quorum. Public notice was sent out March 21st, 2025. Is there any public comment? Hearing none? Motion to approve the minutes of February 18th, 2025. First and seconded, any discussion? All in favor of approval? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We don't have a financial report? Committee reports, Governance Committee, which is Mr. Blevins, Mr. LaBath, and myself. We had a Governance Committee meeting earlier today. Committee conducted a review of the policies you have before you in today's meeting packet, comparing each of the policies to the respective ABO model policy. Review of the compensation, reimbursement, and attendance policy. There were no changes noted. Review of the whistleblower policy and procedures. There were no changes noted. Review of the code of ethics policy. No changes noted. Review of the defense and indemnification policy. No changes noted. Review of disposition of real property guidelines. No changes noted. There were updates to the FOIL policy, which now include an open meetings policy. While the current FOIL policy includes information on how the public may access agency records, update to the policy now include open meetings law information about how the public can join meetings via live stream or view recorded meetings posted on our website.
Is there any change to how?
No,
Yes.
no, there's no change to anything we do.
Codifying.
It codified how we've been operating for
Okay.
many years. Board member evaluation forms were reviewed, and there appears to be nothing significant that requires further discussion with the board. All the reviews were identical to last year's reviews. The annual financial disclosure form required no changes. Completed forms will be submitted to the Board of Ethics prior to the deadline, which I believe is March 31st.
Correct.
Lastly, the committee reviewed the mission and performance review and determined there is no need for revisions at this time. And that completes the Governance Committee report.
I moved to accept your report. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Everything's consistent with ABO policy.
Correct. And we will have resolutions for all those policies coming up in our meeting. Mr. Kelly, staff report.
There is no staff report. We
No
have
staff report.
some stuff to talk about in terms of year review and financial
I
information.
did call for a vote here. Motion to accept your report.
Oh, did I miss that?
You next one.
Okay,
There's a motion and a second by Steve.
yep. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mr. LaBath. Thank you, Mr. Blevins, for pointing out I will get help from my side.
We're here to help.
Thank you. New business. We can do the code of ethics, the compensation reimbursement and attendance policy, defense and indemnification policy, the whistleblower policy. All together, correct?
Yes, and I so moved.
Kim, can I have a copy?
They are moved, and is there a second?
So moved.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Reagan. Any further discussion on those policies?
There's the two.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Summary.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Annual review of the real property report and the FOIL. I guess we could have done all those together, couldn't we?
That was my intent.
The FOIL and the open meeting, I think the FOIL and open meeting law, since it was changed, but we all are aware of the change, so yeah, let's
So a motion to accept those?
make a motion to.
I'll say.
Motion and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution accepting our 2024 audit.
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
So as you'll recall, we switched to a new audit firm this year after our RFP. The firm's name is EFPR Group, Certified Public Accountants out of Williamsville, New York, down by Buffalo.
None around here?
Nobody responded around here. We had Pinto, Muzinski, Hooper, Van House. They declined to renew they had a 2-year option they could renew. They declined to do it. We had talked with Chairman Staples due to his professional background, and he said this is a problem many places, having an adequate staff and enough people to do audits and this kind of complicated review. We've been provided the audits. There are no findings. Everybody has them. No disagreements with management. They look remarkably similar to the audits. We weren't sure from a process standpoint, new people. Kim has been providing information for the last 6 weeks.
At least.
They've processed it remotely, and have provided us, pretty much exactly what we've been getting in previous years. Kim, anything to add?
Different, you're gonna see like on your MDNAs that you normally see all of our pretty graphs. They now do a 3-year comparison, so it's a little larger, a little more graphs. But it is what it is, and the back of each audit has 2 pages, front and back. That's the report to the board. That basically summarizes everything for you. You wanna look at the last sentence of each paragraph where it says no findings, no arguments, no disagreements, no mispostings. That's basically the key of where they're going to tell you what happened and if anything went wrong.
And as you recall, much like our annual project summaries, we have to have these audits to New York State by the end of this month. So by Monday, we have to get these submitted. So it's, there's a bit of a rush to get them in and get them done. But like I said, there's no, I think we're gonna have an audit and a separate audit and finance committee meeting and a follow-up with the auditors. But in the meantime, we recommend you accept them.
Call motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Resolution 2024 Mission and Performance Report and Annual Assessment of the IDA. Patrick?
Do you want to do a first and a second on both of those?
We will. Motion,
So move.
second?
Second.
So your annual report and your mission and performance review and the annual assessment of IDA projects, that is the compilation of all of the project activity that the IDA is involved with, primarily that we report through the Public Authorities Reporting Information System. The annual assessment is this 11/17 document. You will see there are 51 active IDA projects on here. The first one I'll point out is Air Products. We provided a sales and use tax exemption to Air Products. They did not use it. Canceled the project first quarter of 2025. So we are essentially not reporting. There was no benefit, no job creation. Unfortunately, we're now working with them on trying to figure out how to best use the site. As you go down through the report, there are the numbers on what the exemptions are per project, what the job numbers are, if there were jobs required as part of the project, and then notes for each one. What I'll do is I'll get to the summary. We provided $150,000 in sales and use and or mortgage recording tax exemptions across these 51 projects. You provided about 2.3 million in property tax exemptions. You collected, or the taxing jurisdictions collected about $1,050,000 in pilot payments. Prior to our involvement with these projects, the applicants had 706 jobs. They proposed creating 161. The current job level is 940. So when you look at jobs retained, jobs created, it's 940. It is 72 higher than what the projections were at the time of application. Across the pilots primarily, solely, you're looking at about 322,000 square feet of property added to the tax roll. The assessment value added to the tax roll is about $29 million. So if you total the pilot payments and you looked at what tax assessment would be necessary to generate tax payments of that amount, the number's 29 million. When the pilots end, so termination, that number will be about $60 million. That is your annual assessment. There are no projects. I mean, the project that probably stands out is Air Products because of the unique nature of what happened. There are a couple projects where the assessors increased the value of the property, which then increases the value of the pilot payment, where the jurisdiction did not bill for the new amount. We captured that information, we caught that, and we're working with the jurisdiction to get that fixed. So if
What
a
is benefit amount?
that's the amount of the project that specifically received an IDA benefit. So sometimes there may be a project that's a $30 million project where our portion is only, say, 5 million or 10 million. That is your annual assessment. As you see in the wrap-up numbers, the projects are all performing pretty well according to, or better than where you'd want them. Your mission performance review, and your annual report, this is this document that the governance committee has already reviewed. I'll go through it real quick. From an IDA perspective, we have the IDA history of project activity inside the cover. Jim, I know you like these fancy bubble graphics with maps. This one shows over the history of the IDA. So if you're say a 43-year IDA board member and you want to see where we've focused and where our projects have been, it's all over. And I think you guys all know that. We're throughout the county. Graphically speaking, what's that?
Great,
That's a nice graphic. The ARPA one's probably even nicer.
really good.
We have some charts about job retention and growth. Some of the numbers I just gave you, the impacts of pilots. Prior to our projects, the value of the property is about 9.9 million. I just told you they're paying as if it was 29 million. So you've added basically $20 million to the tax roll through these projects. There's a breakdown of where the payments go. And then we highlight the various IDA projects in here. You'll see Surveys is in here. Bent Beam Brewing, the workforce, the BOCES workforce staff next door, the DRI project in Messina. I'm not going to read all this to you because you guys have everything that's in here, you've either approved or have been in some way part of. And then at the end, we have, Jim, the ARPA numbers are in the very back. The county gave us about 3.4 million to allocate. We returned a little bit of the money from the family childcare training, but we allocated 3,242,000 of ARPA money. There's the other graphical map that shows where that money went. And then the listing of every ARPA award, and then our marketing information at the back, this is the standard format. What we do is we bind this, we then get this to the county board, it goes to New York State, and then I think I told the governance committee, we've really done a better effort. Andy's invited us to speak at to go to the Rotary or speak at the Messina Lunch Club. We go to these,
Wow.
you take us to
I spoke there.
the central trades. What we do is we now bring copies of these every time we go speak with a group.
Next one, bring that one.
That's what we will do. So there's your summary.
Quick question, the ARPA awards, they just the 2024 awards or is it?
Everything.
It's a complete list.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep, since inception. And they've all been allocated. We still have probably a few $100,000 to actually spend, right?
Yeah, we are waiting for the last 10% to come to us from the county. Other than that, we've almost expended all of 90% that we've received. So we're doing very well at progressing.
You said one of the projects didn't happen. I wasn't aware of that. Did we leave money on the table? Did I
So the family childcare program, the Child Care Council had initially gone to the county seeking ARPA money for a family childcare training program. The county requested that we administer that program with them, with SUNY Canton. As we've been going through the ARPA administration, we've been looking at, here's the time we have to allocate it, here's what we have left, and we've been pretty much on schedule. County asked us, are there any programs where you think you might not spend the money? That family childcare, the final expenditure was 55,000 and they had allocated 200. It just, the program didn't require that much funding that quickly. So we said to the county, here's a pool of money. We don't think, we offered our ideas for what we could do with it amongst our other programs, but they also had other uses, so they requested it back and we surrendered it.
But the county's getting the money out.
Yes, they spent it on something else. Yep. And that was not, they didn't, take it back. That was a coordinated discussion, very friendly, very, we wanted to make sure that I'd rather they use it on something of their need.
Have you told us about that before?
Yes. Yes. But
I don't pay attention.
this stuff blends.
Might have been a meeting you were not.
God, I hope so.
I
I still read the minutes. I should have caught it.
I rarely give up any money of any amount without somebody doing it.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, I'd just like to say that this annual assessment, you've been doing that, I don't know, 3 to 5 years probably.
In that format, I think, Rich, we saw it back to 21. And every year, it's like the first time.
Yeah, that's a very helpful and well-done document.
And that'll be on our website. That'll be posted.
It is. I keep it on my board all year long.
Yeah. And the annual report's impressive, and I think staff should be commended for the effort it takes to put this information together
It's a good report.
every year, so.
Yep. Yep. Our staff, our partners, everybody, the
Yep.
companies.
So, that says, all in favor of approving the 2024 mission and performance report and annual assessment, the IDA projects?
Aye.
Aye.
May I say something?
You may.
The reports that you just given about the beautiful document, no, that you do not need to say those at the next 3 meetings. Can we say they were already covered at this meeting and be reflected as they were reported in the other 3 meetings at the same time? Repetition is terrible.
Yes, I will. How about I give a couple sentences and that's it?
2.
That's it.
Okay.
What are the longest sentences I can find?
Do we have a need for executive session?
Not for the IDA.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, second, all in favor? Aye.